Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. And today you're tuning into my spirit guides answer your political questions. Yes, you can put your political questions on my community page, which you can find by clicking that little round squiggly thing, which is sort of acting as a logo for me right now. And once you go there, you'll see community and you'll click that and you'll be able to see a call for questions. And yes, I'm still accepting questions. It's also true that I have over 100 questions and I'm not going to be able to answer all of them, but I do try to answer the ones that my spirit guides direct me to. So we're going to start off with actually something a little bit after I said all that. We're going to start off with something a little bit different. My guides want to try this out on you guys. So I'm going to be talking about what's happening in the news. And this was also sort of spurred on by one of your questions from MHB. But before I answer that question, I want to just tell you what is likely to be in the news. Okay. First of all, there's sort of a surprise. Now, this is news is by, its own definition, new. So it can be surprising, maybe not shocking, but surprising. Right off the bat, they're talking about a woman who does cooking, who's a lot like Martha Stewart, but not Martha Stewart. I don't think this could be in the news. This could be a shocking revelation. They're telling me this would be between like now and mid-December, but it seems like her publicists are trying to keep it out of the news, so it might take a little bit longer. This is the only thing I'm going to talk about that's not political, but it is there. When I first tuned in, boom, there it is. It's somebody who's made gaffes in the past. I don't think it's Martha Stewart, but they wanted to say like Martha Stewart. So there are a lot of cooking show people out there that have made gaffes, that have said things. Oops. They're right now, her publicist, it is a woman, is trying to keep her out of the news. I don't think it's going to work. I think she's going to end up in the news. Now, another one is Fetterman. They wanted to talk about Fetterman. He's going to be in the news, and he's going to be in the news, they're saying, because he's not going to be taking any shite. He's just, and we've seen this. This is sort of even a new version of Fetterman, right? Where he just comes out and says, screw you, I don't care what you think. And this is honestly the energy for all of us as we go into 24. The astrology is screw you, I don't care what you think. So just expect more of that from your own self, but also in your doings at work and at home. So, try not to take things too personally as we go into this energy. I do not know the astrological reason for it. All I know is I feel the energy, and then you astrologer people say, yeah, that's this versus this, or whatever you guys say. I don't know. I just read the energy. So I think Fetterman's going to come out swinging. I also feel like they were saying that he was going to let go of something. That actually makes sense, because he's saying, I don't care if you don't like me wearing a hoodie. I don't care. Like, he literally does not care anymore. I think right after his stroke, he was feeling some kind of way about things. He was feeling like he was being judged. He was feeling vulnerable, and he didn't know at that time, can I do this? Can I go back? Can I be the representative of the people that I wanted to be? Well, he did it. He's there, and he's really a hero and a role model for everybody that has gone through something like what he went through, that shows I can go back and I can do this work. I can do any work. I'm taking really good care of myself, but I can also show up. So again, his give a damn is busted, y'all. So be prepared for whatever, because you're going to see a lot of him in, probably not in the mainstream news, but a TikTok, whatever you watch, YouTube shorts, you're going to see a lot of him like throwing these barbs. He's just loaded for bear apparently, and he doesn't care anymore. So that's something that we're going to be seeing. Also, in the news is going to be Trump. Now, of course, we don't care. We do not care. Let's all send a letter to the Universal News Delivery Service and say, please stop delivering Trump. We don't care anymore. Okay. However, what's interesting about this is Garland, not Jack Smith, Garland. So the guides told me expect to see Trump and the name Garland used in the same sentence. I don't know about you, but I haven't seen that. I have not seen anybody using Garland and Trump in the same sentence. It's been Jack Smith. It's been Fonnie Willis. It's been Letitia James. It's been, everybody, all the judges. So something is coming up with Garland and Trump. And a missive, meaning a message, a statement, a statement. The guides want to call it a statement from Garland. He has to, so they're telling me he's the DOJ. I mean, Jack Smith is our hero. That is for sure. But let's not forget, Garland is still basically the DOJ. He is the main dude in charge. So what the guides are telling me is that with all of this I don't know, I'm seeing Chutkin all of a sudden with all of this pressure, they want to use the word spurious. Am I even saying it right? Is that even a word? Spurious. Let's all get out our Websters, shall we? And check it out. Energy around Chutkin, around, and you know, they're watching what's happening with Engoron. And you know, Engoron's staff, his main clerk, who sits right next to him in these hearings, she's been doxxed. What that means is her personal email, her personal social media, her personal information has been disseminated to the World Wide Web, the dark web, whatever you want to call it. And now she's getting inundated with threats. And I just want to say that, so Chutkin and Smith and the people, and like Fonnie Willis, who are kind of on the criminal side of this, so that's on the civil side, but on the criminal side, they're looking at this situation and it's a shite show. I mean, it's a clown show. It's crazy. What's happening to Engoron is crazy. They're actually suing Engoron. Trump is suing the judge, which apparently can happen in civil court. So you have this, what they're saying to me is you have Jack Smith and Chutkin and the various people in the criminal side saying, no, we're not going to be putting up with that. We're not going to have that Mickey Mouse 3-ring circus happen in our court. Okay, so now what I feel like is what I'm getting is that Jack Smith is going to Garland and saying, you need to release a statement. We need a statement from on high, as they call it, right? From the head to the top dog that says, these are the parameters. This is how we're going to conduct business. What they're saying exactly is this is how we're going to conduct business. We expect every citizen in the United States to conduct business this way. And we'll make no allowances or exceptions for any citizen. We will not do that. It is our, what are they saying? It is our understanding, purview. I don't know what they're saying. Our whatever, fill in the word, that ex-presidents are citizens, even if they're running for president. There will not be a special exception made. Now, in doing this, this is Jack Smith and I believe Chutkin and various legal eagles. I mean, this isn't Chutkin saying, hey, you got to get this guy under control. This is the judicial community. So they're saying that there's like a group letter. I don't think this will ever be public, but there was a group letter from various judges, various attorneys, prosecutors, whatever you want to say. But there was a very good selection of them that sent a letter to Garland and said, we need you to take a stand on this because we need to let the United States know. We need to let the citizens of the United States know that this is how this is going to go down, that we will not play favorites. So that's very interesting. Now, how is that going to become public, right? That's all behind the scenes. What you might see how this becomes public is a statement from Garland that says, blah, blah, blah. Sure, it's going to be carefully worded, legalese, bulletproof statement, but he will make a statement. I feel like they want him to make this statement before mid-December. Also, you'll see in just a minute, I'm going to be talking about Congress being in session in December. There's apparently some shenanigans that's going to be happening in December as far as Congress goes. And I don't know if this energetically it's linked. I don't think it's linked in our conscious realm, but energetically it's linked. So there's some reason this group of judicial people, all of those people want this to be done by December. Now, when I go into Garland's energy, there's the sigh that I have sometimes when I'm thinking or working in Garland's energy. He doesn't want to do it. He's like, look, we don't need to do this. This is already law. This drives me crazy. He's saying this is the law. I don't need to state the law. I don't need to state the obvious. And he's also saying, God, don't send this 1-800 spirit guides, press 1 for complaints, because I'm just telling you the energy. And I could be reading it wrong. I'm the whatever. God, dog it, y'all. Gotta have to do a better job of the energy is like too strong and I can't get a handle on it. I am the interpreter. I'm the interpreter. Okay. And maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but the energy I have around Garland is we don't need to poke the bear. And doesn't that just sound like Garland, right? Like let's tiptoe and then we'll catch this bad guy when they're not looking. But I don't want to gear up and come for him. Right? You know what I mean? So he hired a guy. He hired Jack Smith, who's going to gear up and come for him with the full weight of our Constitution, the full weight of our laws. But Garland is resisting. But I do think you're going to see something, because I feel like the energy is too much for Garland, and I think he's just going to do it. Okay? So I think you're going to see Garland make a public statement regarding how we are going to treat Trump as a normal citizen. The next thing is, I talked about Newt Gingrich a while back, and some of y'all take me to task for things and say Newt Gingrich isn't anybody, he's a nobody, he's gone, blah blah blah. Oh, grasshopper, guess what? He ain't gone. That man has been calling the Republicans cannibals for eating their own during the speaker process, the speaker voting process, and he was interviewed through this Jan 6 investigatory process. He ain't gone, y'all. He's been in my energy for a year. And I've been like, I see his face with those hamster cheeks, you know, like he's got something in his cheeks. His head is square. It's like a Flintstone, right? So I've been seeing him going, who is that dude? You know, I literally have to Google, because I can only see his face. I have to Google weird dude, Tea Party, 1990s, and Newt Gingrich comes up every time. Newt Gingrich is very much in the news, and I would say to you, I'm not saying he's going to run for office, but I'm saying he's a player. This guy's a power broker. He still has the phone numbers, the cell phone numbers of power brokers from that era. You know, McConnell's from that era. A lot of these people were around from that era. They're still in office. So he's a power broker. Let's not underestimate him. Also, he is working with the Cheneys. He's working with Liz Cheney and her, you know, a bid to overtake the Republican Party. If you guys are new here, thanks for joining. But the guides have been talking about this for, I mean, over a year. They've been saying, Liz Cheney, you know, she was booted out of the Republican Party. She lost her seat. She's not gone. She's waiting for this Republican Party to go over the cliff enough where the majority of them are over the cliff, or even less. But there's still some, you know, that haven't gone over yet. And they're seeing what's happening to their compadres, their fellow crazy people. And they're saying, okay, I'm not doing that. Like, I knew this was a bad idea. I knew I shouldn't have ever followed these MAGAs. I knew it was bad, but I thought I had to save my seat. I did what I thought I had to do. I never agreed with them. And now I'm putting on the brakes. Now I'm going to say, no, I'm not. I'm not going over the cliff with you. In comes Cheney. Cheney comes in, rounds all of them up, recreates the Republican Party from the ground up, because it's going to burn down. Or if those Republicans refuse to separate from the MAGAs, I mean, it's starting to happen. Enough Republicans voted for the budget. You see them starting to peel off. Okay. They're not completely blind. They can see what's happening. So that's why Newt Gingrich is important here. He's working with Cheney. He's making the phone calls. He's trying to save the Republican Party that he knows, which is not the MAGA Republican Party. Even though you might look at this energy and say, the MAGAs grew out of the Tea Party, and he's the one that created Frankenstein Tea Party that got loose out of the laboratory and ran all around the United States and the world and created this crazy fascist thing that's existing. He's basically the grandpapa of it, you know, but he's saying, oh no, you know, Frankenstein got loose. We were supposed to just use him for special things, you know? So he's trying to save it. So I think Newt Gingrich is going to be in the news. Also, the last thing is Right. The last thing is we talked briefly about the House and the Senate. Congress is going to be doing some kind of fisticuffs. I mean, look, we've already seen fisticuffs. And I don't think I mean that physically, but maybe I do. But when I say that, I mean the Senate and the House are going to be kind of frenetic is the word they want to use, not in simpatico, blaming each other. They're going to be pointing their fingers at each other. In the middle of this, I see Jeffries with that smile he has, where it's not a big smile, but he's just genuinely happy. And he's just waiting. Jeffries is just waiting. That's been the energy of the Democrats. They're just waiting for the Republicans to go off that cliff. And they're just helping them. They're just like, go, run faster to the MAGAs, run faster to Trump. You're giving them all the rope they need so that they can just do themselves in. So you see Jeffries just sitting back there, just kind of going like this, just like, filing his nails, being very patient. He knows, they know. It's like they've employed psychics. I'm not saying I can neither confirm nor deny that I'm working for Jeffries, but it's almost like he's hired, like they have this assuredness, really and truly. You don't see them freaking out. Just as a really good point the guides have, you don't see the Democrats freaking out right now. They're not freaking out about any of this. They're very calm. It's almost like they've read the end of the book. They know what's going to happen, and they're just waiting for it to happen. And they have all the assuredness they need that everything is going to be fine. Okay, now, with that, I'm going to jump into your questions. Let me know if you like that kind of psychic news check-in. If you like that, I will do that more often, okay? So I'm going to jump right into MHB's question, which is, what important political or judicial event is going to happen soon that we're not expecting? And that's what gave me, when I looked into that energy, that's what I saw. That's when I saw all this news. But to your question, I would say there's something coming up with Mike Johnson. There's an investigation. I wanted to say, so if you're new here, I'm channeling this. I'm like 60% spirit guides, 40% Susan. And it's almost like they give me like a teleprompter and I'm reading it. So they kind of give it to me, they load it, and then I'm reading it. So I was going to say, what did I just say? I don't know what I just said. I have to rewind the teleprompter, but I was going to say an embarrassment, but really they said an investigation. And they also said the word indictment. Now, I don't think, am I saying, what am I saying? What are you saying? Is Mike Johnson going to get indicted? No. Investigated? There's energy around. Okay. So Mike Johnson might be weighing in on the indictment of Santos or the investigation of Santos. So there's something to do with Mike Johnson in his capacity as speaker right now, that he's going to be weighing in on an indictment or an investigation. It could be an indictment of one of his fellow House members, and it gives him the willies. That's also a psychic, political, very specific technical term. It gives him the willies. Another way to say that is it got too close. This investigation is a little too close to home. Okay, so I love to see that, because I think that these investigations could be, and we've seen it, a lot of people retiring. So these investigations can start making people think, I'm going to retire. I don't want to be investigated. Therefore, I'm going to retire. They really think that's going to give them some sort of safety or protection. It's not. But one thing it does do is it gets them out of the public eye. And it's a lot easier to deal with this stuff when you're not in the public eye. It costs less money. It's just easier. So I don't think this is going to make Mike Johnson retire, but I think that it puts pressure on him, and it puts pressure on others in Congress. And I like that. I love that, because we need all we can get to get these yahoos out of there. Okay, I'm going to move on to Ursula White. And you're welcome, dear. Today she says she's curious about the relationship between McGonigal, who's the FBI man, a big FBI man, high-ranking FBI man, McGonigal, who it turns out was investigated and found to have been working with a Russian oligarch. Now, McGonigal was key around the time Hillary was running for president. And your question is, you're curious about the relationship between McGonigal and Kushner, Jared Kushner. Well, seems to have its own nefarious network, you say. And this kind of question is the kind of question that gives me the willies, and it makes me want to say for entertainment purposes only. So his connection, McGonigal's connection to Kushner is, oh, that's frightening. Okay, I don't even know. Okay, I'm just going to say for entertainment purposes only, and allegedly, and any other legalese that you can just insert here, go ahead and do it, that there is a direct link. I was not going to say that. I didn't want to say that. I wasn't going to say that, but that's what they made me say. There's a direct link. Okay. I was going to say, because the way I was seeing it was, the link is Russia or Putin or whatever you want to say. And there's, two indirect links. Okay. But they're saying as a direct link. So I'm not going to get too deep into that, except to say that there's a direct link, because when I go into that energy, it's super frustrating, because I see these things and then I see that the potential of the FBI or the CIA or the DOJ making that connection public, which means investigating and indicting this person. So you start running into a lot of intelligence problems. The United States, we don't want to look stupid. We don't want it out to all of our foes that our ex-president's son-in-law was directly involved with the FBI, the United States FBI, who is directly involved with Russia, and that Russia basically deep sixed our own president, our own United States citizens, will of the people. Okay, now you and I know this. Honestly, anybody with a 5th grade education knows this. But apparently our DOJ and our intelligence community wants to think that Americans cannot handle this information, that Americans will freak out. You know what they're showing me? I am not going to be good. You guys got to have to do better about these words. But there was a time when it was just radio, no TV, and people would huddle around the radio and listen to the radio, right? And was it Wells? I think they're trying to help me. Was it Wells who started this story about aliens had landed, and it freaked out people so bad that they jumped out windows? And, that's what they're telling me. They want to act like the American people will literally freak out. What does that mean? It means that maybe you go to the store and you buy all the toilet paper. You know what I mean? You go to the store and you buy all the food. You go to the gas station, you buy all the gas. And then all of a sudden, we don't have any gas. We don't have any food. So you have to remember that our citizens are like a school of fish. And as long as they keep the school of fish happy and maybe even just stupid, right? Then we're all sort of doing things in a range that's acceptable. But if you freak us out, we're going to get freaked out. And the whole school of fish is going to go to the store. And they're going to buy all the food. And they're going to buy all the gas. And then our whole country is going to come to a stop. And some people won't have food or gas because they didn't get a chance to go to the store. Obviously, the people with money will be the ones with the food and the gas. The people without money won't have food and gas. So this is a really important message for you. This is also why they're slow walking, and that's Susan's word, and the guides disagree, but I feel like they're slow walking this Trump thing, because they've always told me it's like disarming a bomb. You don't disarm a bomb by walk over there and step on it with your foot, like you do a roach, even though maybe Trump has roach energy, it's a different thing. We have to understand the enormity of it. So now that they've explained it to us like this, it kind of makes sense, right? It totally makes sense to me now. Now, after literally 3 years of doing these videos, they pull out the analogy that makes sense to me. Talk about slow walking, right? Talk about slow walking. Anyway, thank you. That was a great analogy. It makes a lot more sense to me now. Let's move on. DM3133 says, will the Democrats win the House next year? Yes, they will. I am monitoring the situation. Okay. I am literally monitoring the situation. But right now, the energy is yes. The energy is still green light, green light, green light, green light. Now, before we get there, I will just say this one thing. Because the Democrats want, you remember what we just said, they're feeding MAGA all the rope they can. And that also means that for the most part, except for Fetterman, I don't know what's gotten into him. Somebody put diesel in his Wheaties, man. I don't know what is happening, rocket fuel. But the rest of them are happy to let Trump and the MAGAs say, and this means also all the crazy state governors. If your state has a crazy governor, just raise your hand. Unless you're doing something that requires both hands, don't do that. So why that's important to you is it's going to look worse. Okay, it's going to look worse. It's going to look like all hell is breaking loose. It's not breaking loose. It's just simply that these people that don't pay attention to politics are not paying attention. So the Democrats are saying, let's let this build so big. The crazy things they're saying, the crazy things they're doing, we need to let them get a bullhorn. We need to let them broadcast this so much so that those people that aren't paying attention will wake up out of whatever the heck they're doing and go, wait, what? What are you talking about? That's crazy. We're not going to have that. No, we don't want that. Okay, that's what's happening. So it's going to look worse. Okay, it's going to look worse. You need to hear that. It's going to look worse. It's not going to be worse. It's going to look worse. But then we're going to go in and we're all going to vote like our lives and our country and our democracy literally depend on it, because it does. And then we're going to clean up the mess. We're going to sweep up all those MAGAs that fainted, and we're going to put them in some kind of center where they can be deprogrammed. Okay, that's what I have to say about that. Your next question is, what happened at the U.S.-Canada border regarding the explosion? Oh my God, I know there's people who's like, what? What happened? There was an explosion? What happened was there was a car. And M. Gritsky talks about this a little bit more and says, did the Auto Safety Board ever examine the safety of the Bentley car type called the Flying Spur? Under what president it was recalled in Australia? This was the car that went out of control near the Rainbow Bridge. Now, if you guys watched the video, the car may or may not have been heading for the border crossing with those little kiosks. What you see is this car is approaching that area on a road at an alarming rate of speed. I don't know. Some people said 100 miles an hour. I don't know. It's an alarming speed. And it hit some barrier, and the car went airborne like an airplane. It literally shot, Evel Knievel style. It shot straight out and crashed. And there was a big, boom. Now, what happened was Fox went on, and so did some other news organizations went on and said it was an attack. It was an attack on the United States. And now we're under attack on the northern border. It was all disreputable journalism, is what probably Edward R. Murrow is saying to me. It was disreputable and despicable journalistic failure of reporting. That's what he wants to say through his cigarette in his mouth. And yeah, it's not an attack. It was somebody crazy driving a car too fast, and they got airborne, and just these particular, now they want to say physics was involved. You lost me at physics. If you're going to talk physics, we're out. Okay, but physics was involved. Now your question was, so that's what happened. It wasn't an attack. It was a crazy person driving too fast. Perhaps allegedly drugs and alcohol were involved. That's what the guys just said. Okay, now your question was, did the Auto Safety Board ever examine the safety of it? Well, the guides are saying this is physics. That car may or may not be safe, but it's not just going to take flight if you hit a barricade going 35 miles an hour, right? And speed physics had a lot to do with this. They're talking about it being a projectile. They're drawing freaking diagrams in my brain, and I'm telling you, I cannot handle this. So I'm out. I think it will be under recall now. I think it will get more scrutiny now. But if this car is more prone to I don't know what they're talking, ejection, or I don't know what they're saying. If it's more prone to being unsafe, then yes, it will be looked into. You bet it will. Oh my God. Okay, I got to get out of that because they know better than math with me. Okay, don't math me. That's what I would say. Kelly 3560 says, "Why are we having a worldwide slide to fascism?" And it does feel like that, right? It totally feels like that, especially if you're in a red state. It's almost debilitating. It's terrible, honestly. So I would say to you, because we're going to see more of this, see it. It's not real. We're simply seeing it. Okay, you need to understand that. I'm seeing it. What is the actual outcome of what you're seeing? You might be seeing these terrible things, but in the physical manifestation of these terrible things is very small. They're not getting away with it, but you're getting inundated with the news, the visuals, the talking heads. Okay, so what I would say to you guys is turn to astrology. Turn to astrology. The astrologist have been telling you this was going to happen for like 5 or 6 years. I'm telling you, they've been telling you this for 5 or 6 years, because what's happened is the United States of America has an astrological chart. All you astrologers don't come at me either, because I'm not an astrologist. I'm just telling you what I know, and I'm just telling you the energy of it. According to this chart, the United States is going to be experiencing the same energy of the 1930s. And also of the Civil War. How you might extrapolate that this is worldwide, I don't know. But I can tell you that, yes, we are experiencing from an energetic standpoint, this is something I can talk to. Energetically speaking, we are definitely swinging towards a right-wing, militaristic, and fascism. Okay, the world, the earth is swinging that way. Now, what I would like for you to hear is that look at the progress. I think they're talking about Pinochet. I don't know why. They're talking about Pinochet. Look him up. Don't understand. Look at the progress. We don't have another Pinochet. We don't have another Hitler. We have a Trump. We have some bad actors. We have a Putin. We have some bad actors. We're not as bad as it was then. Now, what that means to me is we're learning the lesson again, the karmic wheel. It's come back around. It's like, okay, let's see if they learned the lesson. We're at the same point again. Did they learn the lesson? We learned a lot of the lesson. We're not experiencing fascism the way we did in the 30s or the 40s or whatever. Is it bad? Yes, but it's better than it was. And I think the next time the karmic wheel comes around, we'll do a better job. We are evolving. We are ascending. We're not going backwards. If we were going backwards, we would be right back where we were during Hitler's reign, but it would be even worse. So can you put it in a different perspective now? Am I saying it's good? No, I'm just saying that you have to put it in the perspective that we're doing a better job. We really are. As bad as it is, we're doing a better job. And we will continue to do a better job as we put people first, as we stand together. You can do this in your community. Reach out to the mosque, reach out to the temple, reach out to the rabbi, reach out to everybody and say, hey, maybe I'm an atheist. Maybe I'm a Christian. Maybe I'm Jewish. Maybe I'm whatever, Muslim, whatever it is. I want to sit down with you and break bread. Why not create a situation where you go to the mayor of your town and say, can we do something like this? Would you sponsor something like this? Put these people on the spot. You're my leader. I want you to create a peace march. I want you to create a peace dinner. Somebody has to be the role model here, folks. Somebody's got to be the adult in the room. Is the light getting brighter again? Somebody has to be the adult in the room, right? So imagine the goodwill that would happen if you had your state senator, your state rep, your mayor, find somebody. I mean, maybe in a red state, you have a Democratic city. Go to that mayor and say, can we do this? Can you do this? Will you take a stand for peace? Will you show the people in your city that it's not this bad, that we love each other, that we can work together? I'm empowering you. how we get out of this is through us. Take action, take action and it'll make you feel better. Listen, guys, I'm going to end this video here. If you like this, well, first of all, if you stayed to the end, or if you just woke up and you're like, Susan's still talking, that happens sometimes. It's okay. I totally get it. Either way, if you're still here and you haven't subscribed, it's probably a good indication that you're my kind of people. So go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button, share it with your friends that you might think would be open to it, and take really, really good care of yourselves, right? Like this next 6 months is, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, it's the most important part of what's going to happen, but it's also the most volatile. We need to get there. We need to do it, but you don't have to do it with everybody else. You graduated early. Let's use that analogy. You graduated early. Why do you want to go back to the rowdy high school where everybody's having food fights? You don't want to do that. You don't want to expose yourself to that, right? Sit it out. Okay. Take really good care, everybody. I'll talk to you guys real soon. All right. For entertainment purposes only.